You know how it goes.
Yes, sir. What do you think so far?
Um, I think Rush is looking pretty big. I think Rush is looking good.
That's what I was saying. He was slinging that ball.
He is. He's flying. He's reading the defense pretty well. Although they had a three and out, I guess, on the last rip. But I think that we really needs to go out and find a backup quarterback. I think from what I saw with the number 17 kid is that he's just too small, too tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing with Kellen Moore that concerns me is he doesn't sling the ball. He just kind of like floats it to his target.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw that pass that Bryce Butler caught towards the sideline. The ball was forever in there,
Yeah.
and then he kind of got like this just winding action, this winding motion that I really don't like. So I just know for sure the starters, somebody who can actually get around and get to the quarterback, that's not going to be a good deal.
Right.
So I think he's smart. I think he knows the playbook really well, but that doesn't win the game.
That's why basically he's on the teams because he was with Linehan back when they were both in Detroit.
Yeah, he was someone Linehan brought into Detroit. Linehan absolutely adores Kellen Moore. But, you were talking about them finding a backup quarterback. If you ask Jerry Jones, that 36-year-old Luke McCowan is a guy they can develop.
Yeah, he must have had too many Johnny Walker blues that day.
I think he was a little bit distracted. I don't even know if he was like aware of exactly who they were talking about when the reporter asked him.
Right, he was so used to doing that cookie cutter response,
Right.
But
I think he was also just looking for, Trevor Knight. Nice. I think he was also just looking for like the quickest justification he could think of as to the Kaepernick thing for any talk of that. And so he's like, Kaepernick's already developed, so we want someone we can develop. And like totally not even thinking about McCowan's age.
Yes, indeed. So it's silly, man. I don't know. Wait a minute. Is that echo on my end or your end?
Let me see.
Could be me.
You still got the echo?
No echo now. But it is what it is. I really want to my people that I was going to look for. I was going to see how Taco is doing. Caught a lot of heat about the Taco scenario because he just don't have the bend. He don't have the speed or the burst to get off to the edge. Somebody tried to do the comparison analysis of Joey Bosa, but Joey Bosa is a strong, different type of beast,
Yeah.
So he's not the same, strength-wise. And Joey Bosa come from a football pedigree, you see, So
Right.
A lineage of playing football is so different from what we have in Taco. Now, I'm not trying to cast aspersions or sully Taco, because what I can see out of Taco, maybe 3 to 4 years from down the line, maybe he can make some type of progress. But his skill set now is just limited, especially coming out of the Big Ten. It'll be a different story if he was doing all that wreaking havoc in the SEC,
Right. Yeah,
So,
I think early on his best impact is going to be in the middle and stopping the run. I agree. I don't think he's going to be great in the pass rush early on in his career, at least.
no way. So that's what it is now. Could the lights start turning on around week 6 or 7 or 8? Yeah, it could be possible. And things of that nature, because you got Rob Marinelli. And then you're playing in a rotational system, meaning that your legs should still be fresh during the second half of the season. So that's a whole nother dynamic to the angles of things. So it's just a process that I'm going to have to really digest and take upon. But Cheeto Bay, he looks like he looks like a rookie out there.
Yeah, I've noticed that he's taken a couple bad angles, and I haven't seen him get beat deep, but we haven't seen the entire game, so he might have gotten beat on a couple plays that I didn't see. But I did see he's taken a couple bad angles on tackles.
And that's natural. You got feelings, you got all those type of things. The first NFL game. And then, they're running a very vanilla scheme right now. So it's not nothing that they did any scouting report on these players. So that all comes into the mix too as well.
Right. So what are your initial impressions from camp, like as far as how the guys are playing? I've heard a lot of good things about Bryce Butler in particular.
Well, Bryce Butler, all of the wide receivers outside of Dez Bryant and Cole Beasley still have my reservations on, because naturally so we seen it before last year. Andy Jones playing lights out, and then this year we could see very much so Noah Brown playing lights out. But look, he haven't did anything yet out here on the field, so I just still have to hold my reservations. I just try to not to be biased when I'm looking at things. I'm looking at it from an angle of what can we improve on. So we do know that Ryan Switzer, the guy that I'm thinking that he's going to be able to be explosive and do all this, and he's injured. So I'm just going to have my reservation on everything.
So the number one person I was looking at this game had to be the tight end, Rico Gathers. Tell me what were you seeing? What's your initial evaluation? And then let me get an expectation. I know you're the person, you do a lot of film. You probably know about this, especially in YouTube. You probably do more film work, and you're better prepared and doing research more than anyone else that I've ever watched. So you're someone that I can trust when I ask you, what's your expectations for Rico Gathers going this year? You saw him with the
although we see it's a good question. Although we see a lot of splashes out of Rico, especially he scored a touchdown today, and he did another awesome pass, playing aggressive and picking up the moving the change per se. But people really still have to pump the brakes, because this is still against second and third players. So my expectations of Rico is that anybody knows that the tight end is the extension of the offensive lineman. The tight end position, you got to know every play that's in the playbook, because you got to know how to inline block, got to learn how to do the inline routes and then kick out too as well. So the process of Rico is going to be another year. He's going to need at least another year just to be an all-around per se tight end. Now, as far as athleticism, you just can't coach that. That's his God-given talent to be 6'6" or 6'7". And can run the speed that he does and can post out and all that stuff and catch up and jump up and get the ball. But from the protection of what a tight end can bring to the table, he's going to have to learn that, and we going to have some type of patience with him. Now the problem is that he been out on display now. All other 31 other teams are looking at him now, saying, "Okay, look at that number 80. We got room on our team to pick him up." So the Cowboys are in a conundrum, meaning that they're gonna have to either try to stash him again on the practice squad, which is not gonna work, or just go ahead and sign him to the 53-man roster. Now he may not be active every week, but I really think that his temperament, his skill set is just beyond far as expectation down the line. So you're gonna have to roll the dice and keep him on your team. But outside of that, give the kid another year. He's going to be formidable out there on the team, beyond serviceable. And I think he can fill in the shoes for Jason Witten down the line if we patient with him.
You saw the touchdown catch, right?
Right. I saw the touchdown catch. I saw the other play, which was more spectacular to me, because he was able to be aggressive and catch that ball that was low to the ground, catch it, get back up, have the wherewithal to get back up and chase upfield. And that's what I like to see, is that aggressive mentality, that playing through the echo of the whistle. That mindset is what I love to see out there.
You watch that. I saw the touchdown catch. And I played receiver in high school, and so of course, me being a Cowboys fan, I was excited to see that catch. But at the same time, I feel like if it was with ones and twos defensively, that would have been probably incomplete, just because how he caught it. Almost like he didn't jump high, he didn't high point the ball. He stuck his hands out, but he kind of like an extension of a breadbasket catch, where I want to see him fully extend, use that size, literally go rebound the ball, basically, when the ball came down. I didn't see that. It was a great play. He's still, this is only year 2.
Yeah.
This is going to be a long project, just like you said. Because the last time the guy played was
last preseason.
8th grade. Before
Yeah.
Cowboys was
I think they said
8th
he was
grade.
like 13,
he didn't even play in high school.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, as long as they can find a way to make sure he doesn't end up being another Gavin Escobar, I'm
There he goes
thrilled about
again.
it.
He just caught another good pass out of the slants there. So, as long as he's not another Martellus Bennett or other reclamation projects that we had out there, I really think that he got a chance.
So it's good. The tight end rotation would be, of course, when and James Hanna's back, right?
Yeah, and Jeff Swaim is out there. This other guy, Connor Baldwin or something like that. I don't know his last name. I'm sorry, but Connor, he's looking formidable too as well out there. So
the Oklahoma State rookie Jarwin.
Jarwin, Jarwin. I'm sorry, Jarwin.
Oh, you're good. I just the name popped in my head because I just saw it a few minutes ago. So.
And Colonel Baldwin, he's played for the Eagles or something like that.
That's good.
Yes, indeed.
So, what are your initial impression, I guess, or what is your initial impression from some of the young defensive backs? I know we haven't had a chance to see Jordan Lewis yet, but I've seen you've posted a lot of footage from training camp and stuff. Cheeto doing work and one-on-one drills and things like that. Do you think that the secondary is going to kind of pick up where it left off last year? Like I still anticipate them having time to grow and everything, but just what are your thoughts on that? If they're up to the challenge now, or if it's going to be a bit of a grind to develop?
This defense is still a cover 2, Tampa 2, basically defense, and then the aspect of where they can jump into nickel 2 as well out of those formations. So I really think that the offense set up the defense. I think that we're going to still go with their mindset of run, pass, and then when the defense get their hands on the knees and stuff like that, then that's when we will strike. So limitations out there as far as the defense. The less time that we out there, the less prone of accidents that can happen out there on the field. So I really think that since we got these guys that's a play action, well, not play action, but an aggressive mindset, they can jump routes, can have a knack for creating turnovers. I really think that this defense can have the ability to make more turnovers and still be serviceable. I just feel like this defense can still be top 10. Ever since 2013, this defense has improved. I don't see them regressing at any given time from here.
Okay. So switching gears just a little bit, what are your thoughts? I'm curious regarding Dak in season 2. Just a couple key areas maybe that we're hoping to see improvement from, and basically, the question everyone has on a national scale is whether he's kind of like one of those one-year wonders or if he's someone who's the next kind of budding star in the league.
I don't see the sophomore slump at all with Dak. I think he's, although he's in training camp, passing a lot of interceptions, he's figuring things out. And Dak Prescott, his scouting report was the type of guy that goes out and he improved the next year. He always worked on his craft. So he was one of those guys that also went to the Peyton Manning quarterback camp as growing up and when he was in his younger years. So I think the traits and the mindset that he picked up from Peyton Manning will translate over to the NFL for his second year. I think him going down there to Florida to work off season, to work on his mechanics, his footwork, I think that all those things, you put them all together, and then by him understanding the playbook even more, and then Coach Linehan and Garrett open up the plays that he likes to do, I really think that this year, I said earlier that I really think that they can average at least 28 to 31 points a game, just by him improving, just by him understanding the playbook even more. I think that he's going to be even more serviceable. I don't think we would have a sophomore slump at all with him.
You think he's going to have a little bit more control of the offense? Now, last year he was more like, hey, whatever the coach calls, that's what you're going to run. Do you see him in his second year able to, audible out of something if you see something the defense is doing that you might not feel comfortable with? Or I know they might do a 2-play system where, hey, we're going to give you 1 play, I'm going to give you 2, and you give you the kill call, and that means, hey, we're going to run the second play. Do you see a lot of that happening this year, or do you just see a lot of, hey, this is the play you're going to run, go ahead and run it?
Yeah, I see him having more control of the actual offense than them trusting in him audibling out of certain scenarios or audibling into a passing play. So I really think that that with that, even though he may throw more than 4 interceptions this year, I think you're going to get more deep intermediate routes that's up the middle of the field, and I think that he's going to take more chances to put the team out up in front. Now, my only problem or my only worries that I would have, my little reservations that I like to say, is number 21. Is he going to play? Is he going to have his mind and his mindset into the game? Is he studying the playbook like he's supposed to do? You know, that's the only thing that I'm worried about. I'm not worried about number 4 at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how long it takes the NFL to finally come out with its ruling. I know they're waiting past this week because of the Hall of Fame and everything and Jerry. But you got to think something's coming down in the next week. I'm thinking it's probably going to be a 2-game, but the way they've kind of dragged their feet on it kind of has people uncertain of what to expect.
Yeah, I heard Chris Collinsworth and I think it's Al Michaels that they doing a broadcasting deal together. Lamented the fact that they may the standard is 6 games, right? But they're going to fabricate something for it to be 2, and then what he's going to do is pretty much so appeal it or what have you, and then have this all swept up under the rug allegedly. Yeah, I do know a lot of times those broadcasters, they get a green light on this type of information, whether it's news funneled in directly from the NFL or what have you. So it's some type of a suspension that's out there lurking that I think he's going to appeal, and he's going to get off on it. He's going to win the appeal. That's where they're going, so they can shut up the naysayers about the Cowboys getting extra attention and things of that nature. So they're going to have to go ahead and give him a suspension. But this is the problem that I have with this whole witch hunt. We have Adam Pac-Man Jones. I think that's his last name. Adam Pac-Man Jones, right? Got arrested, right? Actual arrest. If you look it up, you can Google it. He actually allegedly
cussed out the police officer, right?
He cussed out the police officer, and he allegedly, the same scenario, he allegedly spit on a lady, the nurse that he was in questioning with, what have you, with the arrest. He spat on a lady, and that was going to be a felony, and I guess that charge is dropped. Now, the NFL came out with the suspension of him for only 1 game. So this is a guy
that
got a lot of issues going on. So he got actually arrested, because remember, keep in mind, Zeke Elliott never got arrested, right? It's only allegedly that the situation with the young lady with the domestic violence, which he has concrete information showing, witnesses saying that the lady was going to set him up with the whole situation. If they go and they try to suspend this guy over those alleged actions, and of course we all know that he had other run-ins incidents that pretty much is just him being him, you can't hold that over his head, you know. So it just don't look right far as the NFL to go give this guy, Adam Pac-Man Jones, 1 game for getting arrested, which is going to be in public records, and actually spitting on a lady, which is kind of like nasty in a sense per se. And for them to only give him 1 game, and then you fool around and give Ezekiel Elliott 2 games for accusations that pretty much the lady came forward and said they was false anyhow, because she said from her mouth that she's going to set this guy up. It just doesn't make sense altogether. So the NFL going to have to really, 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 really just say, hey, Ezekiel Elliott, you just have to calm down. We can't do anything at this moment. We just gonna have to let things be bygones be bygones. But the next time you have a real concrete evidence on you, that we will have to give you the 6 or the 5 games, whatever, you know.
Right. I could see them, like in this scenario, issuing something like a 6-game ban, knowing that he's going to appeal. Like, say the number they actually want is 2, but they know because he's going to appeal, they shoot high so that when he wins, it's like they still get what they're wanting. I could easily see a scenario where that plays out. I remember that was also discussed with Greg Hardy a couple of years ago as well, in his situation. But yeah, it's definitely a troubling trend. I know there are a lot of people who try and say that there's a bias in favor of the Cowboys regarding suspensions,
which is laughable.
Yeah, that's garbage in itself. Like you had mentioned this on Facebook, I believe, the other day, how DeMontre Moore, his infraction that got him suspended, didn't even occur while he was a member of the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it didn't occur while he was on the Cowboys. Now it happened in Dallas because he's from the Dallas area, but he was with the Seattle Seahawks. He was allegedly DUI, drinking and driving, what have you. And the suspension was for quote unquote 2 games. And Geronimo Allison incident happened last year, but since all of the heat and everything, they just only gave this guy 1 game. So the correlation is just not right, And I just don't know why, if it's substance abuse, it should be 2 games, clear cut, but it shouldn't be like, okay, well, we give this person 1 game. Oh, since he played for the Cowboys, we give him 2. This just doesn't make sense,
Right. So what are your thoughts on kind of, and there's obviously been lots of highs and lows, but kind of just since he's going to the Hall of Fame, Jerry Jones in general, I know you have to kind of differentiate between Jerry the owner and Jerry the GM, just because the GM track record is not nearly so sparkling. But what are your kind of thoughts on his place and everything, his impact?
Well, from a NFL aspect, he brought in a lot of revenue to the NFL. If you look at it, far as the what you got, the free agency, that's was an ideal that was brought from the masses from the Cowboys organization. The free agency aspect and the salary cap, although it's hindering us, but it gave lower markets like the New Orleans Saints of the world, the Cincinnati Bengals, and once upon a time the St. Louis, now the LA Rams. All those teams are able to function. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, those teams are able to function in Baltimore Ravens. I keep going on and on. Those teams are able to function because of the parity in the league about Jerry Jones bringing in the aspect of marketing, bringing in the aspect of having a salary cap, the free agency process. So all those things derived from the Jerry Jones administration, I guess you would say, and he's just been remarkable, just being a pioneer of moving the team in Vegas now, putting his footprint, his carbon footprints, things like that, and building the $3.2 billion mansion down there in Arlington, Texas. So those things like that, is what Jerry Jones bringing to this NFL. Even the Frisco, those type of things. Jerry Jones, the entrepreneur, you got Jerry Jones, the owner. It's just remarkable, and one can argue Jerry Jones, the GM, from this aspect. The Charles Haley situation, him going out knowing that we had to get Charles Haley, that's Jerry Jones. Him going out getting Deion Sanders, that was Jerry Jones. So you can have one hand that you're saying, okay, we love Jimmy Johnson, what he brought to the team from a coaching aspect, but you still have to go back into the history books and say, hey, Jerry Jones brought a lot to the Dallas Cowboys organization. He helped the organization that was falling apart in the 80s, in the late 80s, to be where they at now, the world's highest franchise sports organization on the planet Earth. So that's what I think. That's why he belongs in the National Hall of Fame.
Definitely a phenomenal businessman in the sense. I'm pretty sure the Cowboys are the only franchise that actually owns their own marketing rights, like as far as their merchandise and everything. Everyone else kind of goes from a shared pot, whereas Jerry had the foresight to take all of that on himself. And as a result, the Cowboys have, that extra kind of revenue stream that just far outweighs anything any other team can do.
So it's remarkable, and then it's so funny when you hear other markets, like other football teams, saying, "Well, my Atlanta Falcons are better than your team," or my Tennessee Titans, or my Houston Texans. When they fail to realize their team wouldn't pretty much exist if it had not. Look at Cooper, he's going. All right, so their team wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for Jerry Jones being who he was, spreading the wealth, So that's what I look at it from here,
Yeah, and that speaks as well. I saw a note earlier that at his Hall of Fame induction, 24 of the 32 league owners are going to be in attendance. That definitely speaks to the respect he gets around the league, at least with regard to ownership and things like that. I know some other, non-Cowboy fans probably look at him almost more like a caricature, but there is no question to his legacy and his impact on the game and the league.
None whatsoever. So, hey, I just like what I hear, man. When I hear him going into the Hall of Fame, I just really want my guy Darren Woodson to get in now.
Yeah, he's definitely overdue, I would say.
And in the original '88, he needs to get in there.
Pearson, Drew Pearson,
especially after that draft day.
Oh yeah,
yes, long overdue.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jerry's going to start arguing on his behalf just for that.
Right.
So is there a standout player you would say in this game, Cowboys-wise, that has left an impression on you? I know we talked a little bit about Rico earlier. Looks like Cooper Rush is having himself a nice performance here as well.
Yeah, Cooper, he looks like a Jason Garrett's offspring there. Red, look at that boy. He's throwing that rock, man. He just passed the ball to Andy Jones. So I like what I see with this guy. I can't wait to try to find some old tapes on Cooper and figure out him. Because he seems like he's taking control. He's taking over this offense. I like that.
So he was Central Michigan, I want to say.
You got a scouting report on him?
I do not have a scouting report on him. I'm just going off what I believe I recall reading somewhere when I saw his name. I think it said Central Michigan was his college. Yeah, I like what I see from him. I could be well behind the 8 ball on this one. So whatever happened with Jamil Showers? Are you aware?
Safety.
Yeah, he's safety number 28.
Yeah, I remember that now. Okay, yeah, I do recall that.
He's still there. I think he's a safety. Hey, but Law, let me ask you, dude. You saved my life last season, man. I'm not gonna lie. I did a lot of traveling, and I didn't get to watch a lot of Cowboys games live. But you did a little thing with your YouTube channel that saved my life, so to speak.
All right, man.
Are we gonna get a little bit more of that this season, or are people cracking down on you? Because I noticed at the end of the season you have to change up some things for.
Right. It's crazy. All of the games now are going to be on Facebook. As far as they're going to be on my Facebook and my Patreon, and the YouTubes. I can do like the reviews and things like that, but they kind of crack down on like the full game. YouTube is going with a process now of they're going to be having the NFL game eventually on their page. So, and they going with that. So. I'm just gonna let them have it. They took my idea, so I can't claim anything because those are big wigs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can't miss that. But yeah, literally, I remember I had a game. I traveled to. It was a weekend. I traveled to Cincinnati, and I was on my way back via bus, 17 hours. Couldn't watch the game, so I know by the next day I was able to at least watch the condensed version, which was genius, by the way. It's almost a better way of watching the damn game. So I enjoyed that. And also I was in Nigeria at the end of December. And I missed the last 2 games, I think. I'm not sure. I think that was when you started having to kind of finagle your way around, like, cut out color or something like that, or kind of zoom in something. But, I just want to show my love for your YouTube channel. And definitely let you know of my gratitude. You definitely saved my life in terms of me watching the Cowboys.
Oh man, I thank you, man. I try, but they kind of crack down on everything. But Facebook, they haven't caught on, I guess. But hey, it is what it is. You'll find a way when you love the game like we love the game. We'll find a way to share it and go over things.
Yeah, winners find a way.
I remember when I told him about our collaboration and everything, he was like, What? Are you serious? Like, he was ecstatic to hear about that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I watched your whole breakdown of all our draft picks. Like for the guys I didn't know, I was like, let me see what Law has to say. You had film on pretty much all of them, so I was like, all right, this guy knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. I trust this guy. I'm watching him.
If I watch film review, it's your stuff like 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Oh man, I really appreciate it, man. You guys don't know, man. I first originally didn't have no clue of doing the film reviews and putting it out on Facebook. First, I was just having the game out there, right? And I was talking, I was just mumbling over the games, and then people was like, "Well, hey, we want you to give us a little attitude and give us a little insight on what your opinions are." And I said, "For real? They want me to put my information out there?" And I said, "Okay, you know." And then I started doing it bit by bit, and then I said, "You know what? I'm just gonna narrow it down to a specific player instead of trying to do the whole game because it's just so vast." Yeah. And I just said, "Okay, I'm gonna do a specific player." And the first few film reviews that I did it live. You know, it wasn't me going back and doing. So I did it actual live, and then it got to 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 views. But I had so many people in there saying, "Hey man, you sound like a robot. You don't have energy. You're not doing it this way. You're not doing it that way." And I'm sitting there like, these rascals, they don't know that I'm doing this thing live. Because once you shoot it live, it goes out to the masses, and it goes. And it could be 2 or 3 days or 4 days later, and they don't know that the video was shot live. That's me live doing the review. So it's kind of harder when you're trying to say, you messing up words here. You messing, this guy wasn't in this formation and this guy wasn't in that formation. You don't know what you're talking about. So it just took those few criticisms for me to really go back and relook at my work, and then look at some other announcers who does film reviews and things of that nature, like your not Joe Buck, but Chris Collinsworth and those guys. So I just started looking at their techniques on how they do things, and Brian Broderson, see how he breaks down film. And I said, I'm gonna put my own spin to it, put a little classic NFL music to the background, and I'm really gonna shut these people up, And it was just for me to just shut people up, because I got that type of mentality. So that's when I started doing the number 38 Jeff Heath film review and all those things, and it just really jumped off from there,
Yeah.
So I was looking for my niche, and I found it, right?
Yes, sir. All right.
Yeah, we're definitely excited to be working with you and everything like that. I noticed, or you told me a couple weeks back when you actually did a little film review on even the Mavericks pick, Dennis Smith Jr. and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious if that was something you were looking to explore a little more of, or if that was just like a special case where he just caught your eye enough that you were like, I want to break this down.
Yeah, now I was trying to start a whole Dennis Smith project, Dennis Smith versus, I was going to do a Dennis Smith versus the Lonzo Ball kid, and I was going to do another a point guard that kind of jump out there. I can't think of his name.
De'Aaron Fox?
Yeah, Darren Fox. I was just gonna do a whole combination type of deal, and really, the Dennis Smith video did caught a lot of views and things of that nature. Yeah. And a lot of people was like, "Oh wow, man, you do basketball too? I can't wait for you to do it." Some more clips. And my only problem is now is finding legitimate basketball films that that I can use, and I don't want my page to get flagged for using the NBA stuff. So I'm trying to figure that out, and time, time is always the issue.
You had mentioned getting League Pass or something could work for that, right?
Yeah, NBA League Pass, if they got some type of maybe not like an all 22 view, but if they have like a Skycam view, maybe I can cut down some tape and do a Dirk Nowitzki or do some more Dallas players out there for anybody who or any player that's out there that people really want to see. I can do those film reviews or tape film sessions. I actually play ball, so I can really get into the details of basketball a little bit better than football.
Nice.
Do you live in Dallas or?
He's in Mississippi.
I'm in Mississippi.
Okay, but you're a Dallas fan.
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Mississippi. And think about this: a small town in Natchez. We really didn't have any major sports team out there in Mississippi, and Cowboys came on every week. So guess what? Cowboys fan I am, since '83. So.
So you're not a Mavericks fan though? You just
No, not a Mavericks fan. Follow the Mavericks though. I'm a Laker fan. I know that rubs a lot of people the wrong way because a lot of people, is that an interception? Oh man, I had this flag. But a lot of people look at it from the different mindset of like, okay, you're not from this city, you don't supposed to be rooting for other teams and stuff like that. But when you're from a small obscure town, you got to root for whoever you can see on TV and whoever they playing.
I found out he was a Laker fan about 2 seconds after cracking wise about Kobe.
The Mamba.
Yeah. I was like talking about the Dirk contract. Like, yeah, he didn't try and bleed him dry like Kobe. He's like, actually, I'm a Laker fan.
He did kind of bleed him dry, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basketball is so fickle now. Players moving to one team, they never stay. And, the person that you can be diehard for far as from the Dallas, I was hearing a lot of fans far as from Dallas saying that, hey, who's not Kawhi? Kyrie Irving is out there now. Can we get rid of Dennis Smith? You know what I mean?
Nah,
so,
people are like that too, but I understand. Basketball is a different, I guess, in terms of, how people view it.
It's a players' league,
A lot of people, they don't even care about teams anymore. Like I'm a Kobe fan, I'm a LeBron fan, and wherever team he's on, that's the team they pull for. Like they are like a Cleveland fan. I have to keep on reminding my friends, like, oh, I'm a Cleveland fan, or whatever. I'm like, nah, you're not a Cleveland fan.
No, you're not. Right. where now?
You were cheering for Cleveland, you were cheering for Miami. So.
Yeah.
The $1 million question now: where are all of the Miami Heat fans at now?
Golden State.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yes, indeed.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
But I mean, they did it the right way. Golden State did. So I ain't tripping.
You build. Everybody is built from within. So, and outside of Durant, I think that Durant was a great acquisition. Now I think you can't blame the guy. He took less money. He saw what he wanted to get out in life, and that's a good thing. If you can do the same thing with our positions, yeah, you do the same thing. So I can't dog him for that.
Still got sour grapes.
I don't know. I'm built out of a different, I guess, mold. So I wouldn't have done the same thing. But I do see both sides of the story. He has his reasons. If I was Kevin Durant, I wouldn't have done it. But he got his ring out of it. So.
Yeah. Got his ring out of it, and one could argue, Dirk Nowitzki, right? Mm-hmm. He put the team on his back, right? Mm-hmm. He beat the best team in the league. Everybody thought it was LeBron James' year, but he shut up the naysayers. The big Dirk Nowitzki did his thing, Of course, we had the help with Jason Kidd and Jet, but outside of that,
yeah,
I'm proud of Dirk Nowitzki, and I'll tell anybody to their face. I know I'm a Cowboys fan and / Laker fan, but I'm so proud of Dirk Nowitzki for doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, we've talked in depth on that subject as well, kind of comparing how not all titles are built equal and everything. Talking about these super teams that are forming now to win titles, like kind of how their legacy stacks up versus the one title for Dallas and Dirk in particular. We were kind of saying like it's almost like for these super teams they have to win 2 or 3 before it equals the one Dallas won, just because of how it was built. And
Kevin Durant, you win like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
but Mark, I just kind of have to blame Mark, man. Just as well as he built the team for that reason, he was the same guy that took the bricks down from that team. He let people go, over a few dollars too. So it's just sad how that all transpired or occurred. But if you can you imagine if Dirk had some more pieces around him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? Mark Cuban, he was close to getting a Kobe trade.
Very close.
I've heard allegedly. Years after the fact, that's when Mark would start running his mouth saying that he could have got Kobe down here in Dallas.
Right.
05 when there was Kwame Brown was their starting center or whatever. supposedly try to get Kobe down here. That would have been great.
Yeah, I remember that.
Good times. It would have been multiple championships.
Yeah, we like talking a lot on the Mavs. Enyi's a diehard Mavs fan.
I see the shirt.
Yeah. I mean, just a plan. I got number one, the future
Smith Jr. You know,
Dennis Smith Jr.
Yeah.
On that note, I would say we had this on tape. One of our podcasts. It's probably the first podcast we did together where I called Dennis Smith. Well, I mocked Dennis Smith coming to Dallas
months in advance,
and then also if he would have came to Dallas, that he will be in the running for Rookie of the Year. And then lo and behold,
that's all the hype now.
Yeah, pretty much. It's either him, Alonzo Ball, or I'm forgetting this guy's name who went number one. He was
Fulton.
Fultz. Yeah,
Fultz.
Markelle Fultz. I mean, he got hurt, so he shut down the summer real fast. But
I mean,
it's looking like it's gonna be a great year for rookies this year. It's gonna be
it is, and I think Smith Jr. He got that slashing ability. Now the trait that I see that he has the ability to jump out the gym too. So I mean, and then he get set up and got a great shot. You know, create his own shot. So I really think that's a gem right there. I just wish that Darreck was like 5 years younger.
Oh yeah, man, it would have been beautiful.
He's like, now you give me something. Come on now.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes,
you have to lose a lot of games to get it.
And then, and you just think about it. If you just do a podcast on the route of how you got Dennis Smith, you know, the New York Knicks had to do a crazy bonehead decision to pick up that guy from France, you know, or wherever he's from, and then the other pieces had to fall into place. So
I think
weird.
I think it was a huge smokescreen by Dallas. I do not think any way they're interested in Frank Ntilikina. They tried to make just so, hey, I mean, if you look at how they were talking about him down here in Dallas, they were like, Dennis Smith. They were using words like he was a ball dominator. Ball dominator basically is a more professional way of saying ball hawk. And they were trying to talk him down, and they were trying to talk up.
Kept saying they wanted to pass
Frank.
First.
We want to pass first point guard. He can play defense and stuff like that. Kind of talking up Frank. And I think New York, they kind of bit on that. He's like, oh yeah, he kind of fits the triangle mold a little bit. He will be great for our system. And I'm like, yes, please. Like all Mavericks needed was New York to draft Frank Ntilikina, and then I knew they were going to go for Dennis Smith after that. I just knew it.
It was a hand
it was
given
close.
to him.
I felt like it was down to the wire.
Yeah.
But it turned out,
now you got you a piece that you can build around. You know, that's a 10. That's like a 9 to 10 year staple piece that you have that you don't have to even worry about. You know, and now you got to figure out, okay, who else is that Narleans? Is he gonna stay? Is he going to stay?
So he's a restricted free agent, and he wants a max deal, but literally no one can afford to give him a max other than Dallas now because there's just everyone spent their money. It's been over a month since free agency started. And
Dallas is not going to give him a max deal for no reason. There's no point if there's no now he was like Darreck said. So if someone was to sign a max deal offer sheet, we're going to match. But it's like if there's no reason to, why will I? In a business point, why will I do that?
Because where they're stuck right now is you don't want to overpay for him, especially because they still can't help themselves being tempted by big names. They're still trying to find a way to stay financially flexible where they can be in the DeMarcus Cousins sweepstakes, whether that's before the trade deadline or this offseason, something like that. So they can't help themselves there, but they're trying to walk the road of keeping his price down while at the same time not pissing him off, because no matter what, he's with Dallas next year, even if he just signs his qualifying offer. But you don't want that to happen. You don't want to burn the bridge when
he's basically, if that happens, I feel like he's gone next season. Because if he signs the offer sheet, he's a unrestricted free agent next year.
Yeah, so they lose all leverage if they go the offer sheet route. So who knows what they'll do. like you mentioned earlier, Cuban's decisions post title have been kind of infuriating. It's the first time,
especially when it comes to centers.
Yeah,
he's
rim protecting centers. He doesn't seem to understand that when he's got something good, he needs to hold on to it.
A la the kid that went to the Knicks, what's his name?
Tyson Chandler.
Chandler. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he went to
that was
a go again into the Suns.
Yep.
Suns. So so he was the if you guys can get Cousins, if he can get Cousins, he's kind of like that demeanor, that bully, that guy that can put that elbow down on you and get into the face of the opposition. You need people like that to push that team. Coming out of where they're coming out of from, it's just going to be too hard because you got so many. You got so many people that can just trample over you, out of the Western Conference. So it's just going to be too tough, to get around Golden State now, Houston, the armpit down there, and then you got to deal with so many teams, the Spurs and you got to deal with the Grizzlies. They always still fighting to the end, So it's things like that you're gonna have to always put a placeholder on. And now this year you still got to worry about New Orleans, So
yeah, it's gonna be a fun season, definitely. Both Cowboy season and NBA season, whether Mavs fan or anything like that. But it's gonna be. I look forward to a lot of cool cross-talk and content and stuff like that we can do with you, NFL, NBA, whatever.
Oh, yeah. So I'm down for whatever, man, if I can find time. You see, this time now is all quiet and serene.
Yeah.
And the last interview, we had to cut it short. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll see what we can figure out for getting NBA games so we can do some footage with that. We can find some way to work together on that. I think I'll get a Game Pass thing or something like that. We can work that way for it. But
sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us again. Like before, if you wouldn't mind sending us your copy of the audio, or sending me, I should say. I've recorded it as well, but last time my audio kind of errored a little bit about 10 minutes in. So I ended up rolling with your audio anyway. So.
Okay, yeah, I'll send you this copy here, and we get things going in the right direction.
Okay, cool. I appreciate it, man. We'll definitely be in touch in the next week or two, something like that, to talk more preseason or any jarring storylines that come about for the Cowboys.
No doubt. Sounds like a plan, man. It was a pleasure talking to you guys, man. Hopefully, the guy didn't catch that ball. So hopefully we can talk some more. And peace, man. Salute.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.